Good evening,
What's
everyone.
up?
How you doing?
Cody
Welcome.
slamming nuts in his mouth already.
Oh, every night.
Yeah, buddy.
I've been on the peanut, craziness lately. I don't know why.
Why not?
What is it? Just plain salted peanuts, or what actually is it that you're munching on?
So got some
These-
mixed nuts.
Steez.
Okay, all right. Classy.
Come on.
He's got
Oh
Totally.
yeah, peanut.
these
Totally,
ones.
totally
These
missed it.
nuts.
These ones.
Mm,
What's going on?
Yeah.
We got a pretty good group. We're missing Brian. Brian's not feeling well.
yeah.
So ready to roll though. We got a pretty good crew.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome, Lyle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So what is this? Tuesday night, you guys? 9:00 Central. Keep off the grass. We're talking fungus, but before we get any further into the show, let's all grab a glass
Or can.
or can. Keep off the
Like
grass.
last night.
Bush.
Ah, that's good.
Did you hear it? He said it too. Bush.
There's like a little a ghost next to you, Nate, coming in and out of
Little ghost.
very
Yeah.
ephemeral. Yeah, so fungus, you guys. Shoot, it's been so humid here in Missouri. I'm sure y'all have felt your own version of the heat, humidity. It's just you step outside and I'm already like soaked,
It's
I guess this is
disgusting.
prime
I
So-
took
prime fungus
I took
time.
4 showers yesterday. By the way.
That's a lot of showers.
That's because like literally I'd go outside, I'd mess around, do something, and I would just be soaked. And it's like, well, I'm gonna take a shower. And then I went over and mowed my neighbor's yard, and I was completely like dripping off my hat. Like the bill of the hat is dripping. And
I
I'm like,
love
well,
that.
I better go take a shower because I was getting ready to go. And then my daughter's ball got canceled because it was so hot. It was like 98 with like heat index of like 106. So they're not gonna have little kids out there playing t-ball. So I'm like, well, don't have t-ball. So then with it being that hot, I decided it was a great idea to mow the hill. So then I mowed the hill, and then
Of
that
course.
was another.
Why
you
not?
know, yeah, exactly. So
Like you do.
just a full day of going outside, doing something, taking a shower, going outside, doing something, taking a shower. But
So I was reading an article today, and apparently there's a new thing. So you guys have heard of like a bomb cyclone event. Yeah.
Mhm.
Apparently we have a heat dome event. Have you heard of this before? I've never heard of it.
Mm-mm. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. It's a heat dome. Look it up.
Sounds-
It's a thing. I don't know.
Sounds
There's a
awful.
heat dome going on here in the
Like
US.
in the last like
Yeah.
2 to 3 years, I've heard more weather terms I've never heard in my entire life.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying. It's, it's nuts. It's like,
I mean, deratio, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And then you have like, all these different ones they come out with, and now
Did
got
you
this
say
one.
fellatio?
No?
yeah, no.
That's been around for a while.
Well, I mean, like think back, right? Think back a couple years ago, I guess when we were probably all, young college fellas ripping and running, and there was a little skit Saturday Night Live when El Nino was popularized, right? Chris Farley was on there, and he was like, "Carmel Nino." And so now it's like there's all these other new things we never heard about El Nino before that, and then and now we got bomb cyclone and heat dome, and Yellowstone National Park disappeared apparently. I don't know. There's
That's
a lot of weird
crazy.
stuff. A lot of weird stuff going on, including fungus and turf grass.
Yeah, that's right. Wild times.
Well, before we get into that, we have a guest, but we actually just hit 1,300 subscribers. So thank you
Ooh.
very much, everybody.
Nice.
Boom, boom, bang,
1,300,
bang,
so
bang.
it's another
Congratulations.
milestone. Appreciate that. But tonight, before we get into the topic of disease, fungus, we have Yard Hard joining us.
Hey, hey.
KOTG Lawn of the Week member.
Yes, sir.
He yards so hard, you guys. So much
hard.
yarding. So hard.
I want you to explain the name. Like, how'd you come up with it? What is it? Where's it from? What's the roots? I mean, I know what I think it's, but I'm guessing I'm wrong.
Yeah, we all know what you think.
So clarify that for us.
Sure. So I was sitting around one day and I was like, man, I gotta come up with something. And I sat down on this logo designer program. I just started typing words in. And I knew I wanted something that was kind of catchy, like looked the same. Then I was thinking like, okay, you know, baseball season's coming up. And I remember playing baseball and I was like, you know, people would say he went yard, like when he hit a home run. And I was like, well, you know, kind of hitting a home run in the yard and whatever, kind of went along with that. And then I started thinking about, you know, back in college and stuff, I was kind of learning how to do some hardscaping and stuff. And then I started thinking, okay, I like the entire yard. I don't like just the lawn. I like everything. I like all aspects of it. I want it to be, you know, every little place is usable space. So I was like, you know, the whole yard, that's kind of my thing. And then I started thinking every lawn that I've been kind of a part of, like whether it was mine or my parents, I've always put a rock out in the grass that people have to mow around and trim around. And that's kind of been my staple. And I was like, it's a kind of a hardscape. So I went with yard hard and it looked good. It rhymed and I found a cool font. So I went with it. That's about it.
Like it.
That's awesome, man. That's a cool creative process. I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely not what I was thinking, but
No. And that might have
So
been
Nate, this is his after the fact justification of the name, right? You know, we all
Correct.
know the initial inspiration. Well, how can I rationalize this for my wife and
exactly.
other people that ask me in public?
I mean, honestly, if you're going to transition into like a only lawns account, I mean, you already got
Mhm.
the
I got it
perfect
covered.
one.
All I gotta do is
You
wake
are
up and
yard
wake up,
hard.
walk out in the lawn, and I'm good to go.
Boom,
Yeah.
you're set.
Didn't you say when you won Lawn of the Week, you had you were reading your daughter or something, and you heard me say like, "Oh, I got this right now," and then you knew you won.
Yeah. So being on West Coast time, it starts at 7 and daughter's bedtime is 8. So usually mid-show, I'm kind of in and out. And
Mhm.
it was my night. So I'm reading a book. It was like a Dr. Seuss book or something. I had one AirPod in and I was trying so hard not to lose it when you said that. But yeah, it's good times. Good times.
So
That's awesome.
what do you want to tell us about what you do for a living?
Yeah. So I guess little backstory. You know, I kind of grew up mowing lawns and stuff. My parents, a couple neighbors, my grandparents, always enjoyed it. And then, I don't know, I was probably 11 or 12. I got into the game of golf and found out how frustrating it is and how rewarding it is at the same time and started playing that a lot. So I think it was a day after I turned 16, I went to the local course and turned in an application. She said, you start tomorrow. And so I showed up and was working weekends and summers as, you know, player services. And after a couple of years, I really kind of caught a glimpse of the maintenance crew and wanted to get into that. So started working on the maintenance side and ended up going to college, Oregon State, got a degree in turf grass management, did the whole golf course roundabout. And then I was ready to see something new, kind of tired of looking at the same property every day. So I switched into the agriculture side. And so now I do, I'm an agronomist or crop consulting for grass grown for seed mostly. So kind of do the whole process. I watch people get it planted in the ground and we take it all the way till it's in the warehouse and then in a bag and out to everybody else's consumers. So
Nice.
kind of live my life around grass, I guess.
Nice. That's what I want to
That's
do.
awesome.
Do you
That's
do
so
consulting? Like, do you work for a particular seed company or are you just kind of like a third party organization that does it all around, or who are you
I work
consulting
for a retailer. So we sell crop protection and fertilizer. So as far as consulting, it would be either crop protection or fertilizer. And so you can cold call. I mean, you can pull in a driveway and find somebody, but a lot of it is repeat business. So, you build a relationship. There's growers that we've worked with for 40, 50 years, and you're kind of a part of the farm. You're just one of the crew. So you're out there every day. And when you find a problem, you give them a solution, and then in turn, they buy it from you. And that's kind of the process. So
Mhm.
fun. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. I emailed Dr. Greg Munshaw the other day and was like, "Hey, give me some good graduate programs, turf grass management or agronomy or something like that.
Yeah.
Give me a list. Give me a list. Maybe I should go back to school."
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
How long did that take
need
you,
a
Lyle,
job.
to go to school?
I need a job. I should start working. I need a job.
What was that, Cody?
I was gonna say, how long did it take you to go to school for that?
It was a 4-year program, but I mean, really just a year and a half is turf grass related. A lot of it's horticulture. So landscape design, landscape maintenance, irrigation design, that kind of thing. There's only so many classes that are actually turf grass related, at least in the program I was in. Great program, but I think it depends on which one you're in. You get a little more experience than others.
So you took a course in irrigation design. You could maybe consult on my irrigation system. I'm going to have to get eventually for my yard.
It's been a long time. I could try.
Dude, that was freshman year, man. I don't remember anything from freshman year.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm that good at math anymore. I got the book somewhere. Probably I can send you the book.
Yeah, there you go. You're on your own, buddy. Now, so
where are you
speaking of
located?
moisture. Oh yeah.
Western Oregon, the wet side. Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I like the west side.
So that's what you're rocking with in your backyard.
Yeah. So this is current as of Saturday. We've had an extraordinary amount of rain for this time of year. So things are wet and cold and messy and still fighting it. So that's current. Got a lot going on back there.
Yeah, you do.
All that
It's
hard
not bad for
shape
it being
up
so
there.
cold, you know. I mean, you're waiting for some of it to kind of wake up probably and start to fill in more, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, we never really go dormant. So it's,
Mm.
it's just
Just
there
going
and
slow.
wet. It's just slow. We had a good stretch in March. Everything kind of woke up, and then we had about a week of frost, and that just shut it back down. And now it's, yeah, we've been over 70 for a couple of days, but most of it's just high 50s, low 60s, a couple inches of rain a week. Yeah.
What you're mowing with right there.
Yep. Those are the tools.
Nice.
I've had the Toro for, I don't know, almost 2 years. And then I just picked up the John Deere reel mower.
Is that like a commercial push mower? That Toro?
It looks
No,
beefier
that's
than mine.
the recycler,
Oh, okay.
Vortex with, whatever they call that, personal pace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How do you
I
like the
love it.
personal pace?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so nice to just walk at whatever speed you want. And it just kind of goes. No extra levers or anything.
Does it have the adaptive handlebar thing?
Just for forward, not for reverse. One of them, I think one of the models, maybe the commercial one, has a reverse. So when you walk backwards, it comes back with you.
Yeah.
But
that's
yeah, it
nice.
just kind of slides the top of the handlebar up and down. The faster you walk, the further it goes down.
That's cool.
So
That's
I like
nice.
You got a
Okay.
sweet backyard. I love
Yeah,
that
I like-
backyard.
I like
Beds,
this
yeah.
wheel. Bro, that thing's sweet.
Yeah, that's cool.
the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
love
that's my strawberry garden.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. When we moved in 5 years ago, there was one tree. The tree down there on the end by the putting green was about
Mhm.
3 feet tall. Everything else was grass, fence to fence, and clear up to the house. So a lot has changed.
It's good landscape, putting your education to use, man, making the backyard a fun place. That's awesome.
You just map it out and start cutting or what?
Yeah, I just go on Google Earth and start kind of drawing things, lines in where I think things will go. I go out and measure it, paint lines on the ground, and then just start knocking stuff out. And I had a tractor home for a weekend, did some leveling, and kind of cut in to the right. There is my pond, kind of cut that in and just started going for it. So it's been in phases for sure.
It's awesome. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sweet. I should actually put some thought into doing something in my yard, but it's all just grass and at one point I was like, oh, let's get a pool. So I just kind of leveled out a spot and just plopped a pool on it. So there's really no thought to it. There's no thought at all. It was like, all right, I had some dirt and I was leveling out a part of my yard where I had like a whole whole buttload of water in the back corner, and I had like a whole bunch of dirt. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll level this out. And I was like, oh, let's level that out for a pool. And got a bunch of those like interlocking play mats to put under it, and just threw it up, and then I take it down in the fall.
It's so much work. I hate it.
Yeah.
That's my one regret back there is putting in a pool.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like having it because it's great. Like, especially I put it up, whatever, a week and a half ago. And my kids have literally been outside swimming every day since I filled it. So it's great.
Get
You
use out of it.
You have it heated?
No. Mm-mm. It's
No,
been
but
pretty warm here though.
you're
I mean,
warm.
It was kind of cold when I first filled it because I just threw both hoses in there from my house and just let it rip for like 12 hours and it fills it up. But it was pretty cold like the first day, but I have the solar cover for it, so I threw the solar cover on for like 4 days and let it warm up, while the chemicals were all getting right. And it's really pleasant now. Swimming last night, pretty great.
Nice.
I like having it, but it is work. I mean,
It is.
it is work. But
And Lyle, on the episode of Fungus, I mean, I'm thinking Oregon, real wet. You guys don't necessarily get too warm. Do you deal with a lot of fungus up there in your lawn?
Yes and no. So typically what we get is 9 months of rain. So normally about mid-May, the faucet turns off. It just quits raining one day and it's 85 to 95 until end of September. And then it one day just starts raining again and doesn't stop till May. So there's some periods there where it gets pretty bad, but typically it's not terrible. Mostly in the fall, I would say, more so than now. But I mean, I do have some now. There it is. I got some lovely stuff showing up in the fescue in the front yard. So
Yep.
What do we got? What do we got going on here? Because I think I see more than one thing.
yeah, so this started as red thread. We had a night 2 weeks ago that was like 63 for a low, and it rained like 2 inches that day, and it just blew up. And now that we're kind of getting back to some different weather, yeah, there's a few things going on. So I haven't really even messed with it just because I'm gonna kill it out anyways. But yeah, it's getting messy.
Yeah, I had that a couple weeks ago. If you look back on my Instagram, I think like 2 weeks ago, I had like 4 little spots. You could see them in my front yard. I forget which picture or reel it was, but you could see them in my front yard. It's like the bottom kind of like left-hand corner where I was filming. There was like 4 spots and it was red thread. And I got that kind of like cleared up. But then when I was mowing the other day, I started noticing some like gray leaf spot kind of coming in. And so I went and hit it with I ran out to my shed and I was like, oh, I got a bag and a half of disease X. So let me go ahead and throw that down and, just get that stuff put on it. And it's already looking better. So I caught it early because I was looking for it this year, because last year it was a battle. It just kept coming back. And I was like, it's going to happen again this year.
So, like, what are some things you could do? So before you put down a fungicide, is there anything you can do to try to mitigate it before applying something? Like, I read something about maybe hitting it with some nitrogen or pushing some growth and then cutting it and removing the infected tips. What are some things you could do to try to treat it, hit it up before you apply fungicide? What have you done, Olee? What do you do usually if you see something like that come out in your yard?
I'm sorry, I had to get PJ Mask or whatever going on. What was the?
So before if you think you got fungus coming on, what do you do to try to minimize the damage, or what can you do in your lawn before you actually have to apply a fungicide? Is there things you could do to kind of mitigate it if you see it right away and start doing something?
Other than, I guess, go at a curative rate, I don't believe so. And every year I sort of missed the window and get some. Like right now, I've got some brown patch, and I really wish I'd have got it down before we left for the beach, but it just did not work out. So I got to spray my fungicide last Wednesday, and hopefully it's going to take care of what I'm seeing right now. So I do have a couple spots of brown patch.
What did you put down? What did you apply?
I mixed a hydroxystrobin and propiconazole. And basically made my own mixture.
Those are the two that I'm familiar with. And I don't know if there's other ones that are commonly used, but those are the two that I know.
Yeah. And I believe it's either called Heritage or something. I believe it's already pre-mixed that way. But
Heritage G or something like that, is it?
Now that would be granular. I use liquid stuff. So, but hopefully what I've got down will combat what I'm dealing with. And it's the thing that really sucks is it's getting hot and dry. So you want to water, but there again, it's a double-edged sword. If you don't water when you should and get the sun to dry it off, then you got more problems.
Yeah.
So I could see right now having a smaller place irrigated would be a whole lot easier than trying to cover all this when I get it, when I can.
Yeah.
And then, the other thing is your nighttime temperatures, but it's pretty crazy. Like the last day or so, I've spoke a little bit with Hydrotane, and me and him was talking a little bit about fungus. And for instance, like even in a garden, they tell you, keep the leaves dry.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you to keep the leaves on the plant dry. A lot of people who have gardens,
welcome.
But even like in a garden, they run drip tape and stuff to where they water the roots, not the leaves. And for instance, like I drove by a place yesterday where they had the septic tank lines, and the septic tank lines, are feeding the roots water from the septic tank, but not ever on the leaves. And we hadn't had any rain in a while, and that grass looked amazing. So if you can keep the blades dry when they shouldn't, and what I've been told, and Lyle can answer this, I've been told if you don't want the blades to be wet more than 10 hours. And if they're wet more than 10 hours above, I guess, the 65-degree nighttime temperature mark is whenever you start disaster.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, the warmer temperatures help the fungus grow better, probably, and certainly the moisture creates that environment. It makes sense when it's hot.
And I think that's why we say, water in the morning so it dries off faster. You water at night, it sits on there for your 10 hours or whatever time frame it is.
Yeah. And it's, like I was talking with the Hydrotane fella, and what I think is really crazy is he was talking to me about some studies about fungus in their product. And it's not like their product cures fungus, but their product will keep you from having to water as much. So then you less likely have wet leaf blades. And that's really got me thinking here lately, about Hydrotane. I don't know, but if you water less, then you have less. Like what I'm fighting right now is we're bone dry, but we've got humidity, and our nighttime temperatures are getting basically 70, 73. So now it's just like a recipe for disaster. I'm looking at hot spots I want to take care of, but at the same time, if I'm not careful, I'll just make it all blow up worse.
I'll have to go back and look again, but I remember him talking something similar because I got Hydrotane. I haven't used it yet, but the whole idea is that it would help to draw moisture from the atmosphere and get it into the soil. So like if you have moisture on the blades over time, it would kind of come down quicker than without, and then the soil, then it would get absorbed in the dirt and then the roots and all that kind of stuff. So it's like that benefit of like drawing water into the root zone, but also pulling it off the blades and getting it out of there so that you get better airflow and less moisture just sitting there maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Too much moisture in the soil still could cause fungus.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But if the roots need it though, right? So if you got these hot days, like Olee was talking about, where you're not getting rain, but say it's super humid, maybe you could draw some of that humidity or that moisture where you're not necessarily doing sprinklers, but you're not getting the fungus either. I don't know.
Well, dang it, just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask Lyle something. Oh, I was talking with a fellow the other day, Lyle, and we were talking about brown patch and this kind of stuff. And he was basically saying, like, when they do all the plots where they test grass seed, for like the trials or whatever, what he was telling me is once you have like brown patch or something in your area or in your yard, once it's in the soil, it's always in the soil. And the only way to get rid of it is to fumigate. Is what he was telling me. Like, basically he was saying when they do these plots, they go fumigate those plots to where that grass seed, when they start to test it, is started in a fresh soil, no kind of history of fungus or something. And I just thought that was interesting.
That makes sense because you got to give them all a fair chance for the NTEP trial. And if one starts off with brown patch underneath it, that's not really fair. So that makes sense.
And imagine if it was like a spore producing fungus, it would have those spores would always be there. So you always have to battle it coming back unless you did some kind of irradiation or something to knock out the spores, whatever that would be. So you can truly start fresh.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It was just interesting because, like, my goal is not to use fungicide if I can help it. But I'm starting to see that there's really no possible way around it. I've used the least amount of nitrogen that I've ever used this year, and I'm still got some, brown patch. And I've cut way back on nitrogen inputs. So it's just like, damned if you do and damned if you don't. But I don't see getting around it.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably, once you kind of know your area, is that something that's going to kind of resurface every season? And then you have to decide, is it worth putting down a preventative application every year versus waiting and then just treating it as it arises? I'm partially colorblind, so I'm not really all that good at teasing out these small differences and catching things early on. So, and knowing that we're in the Midwest, we get super humid, it may not be a bad idea to do a preventative application similar to, like, I do my pre-emergent every spring. You do your preventative app maybe every season and then see how it does. If you skip a season, see how it does maybe.
To your point, Bill, like I was talking about that. I don't remember if it was in a chat we had or if it was just in another show or episode, but I was kind of making that same comment. Like last year I did preventative, I think 3 times, like every 6 weeks I did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any, but that was my question was, did I not see any because of what I put down as a preventative, or did I just not get it where the conditions just not there? And that's the tough part about it is if you're putting down
control,
there's nothing that says, yes, it worked.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the tough part. Like you said, pre-emergent, you put it down. Did it actually prevent weeds from germinating and from, coming up, or were they not there to, come into the lawn anyways?
Well, that's where you can look at your neighbor and be like, oh yeah, the pre-emergent's working. Yes.
Yeah. To some extent, but then, but then if
I get what you're saying. Yeah. You don't have like a control zone that you didn't put it on to see, oh, okay. Yeah. It was totally the preventative herbicide or the preventative fungicide. Yeah. Like you don't have that. So I guess the only way to know is if you try to not use it for a season or two and see if it's worse that year. But then
that season
residual, right? Is there residual effect from all your previous applications?
Exactly.
So yeah, you don't really know. But
I just don't know if I want to roll that dice. I'd rather just keep on doing that preventative. And I mean, you might hit like, oh, I see something, so maybe this preventative isn't working. But until then, I would keep on. That's what I do. I do preventative all the time. And, it's not going to hurt your lawn from what I know. I don't think it's going to hurt your lawn. It hasn't hurt mine. So do it. Make sure, you get it done. And, like you said, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Oh,
Hey, Olee, are you going to
snake
do
oil.
a preventative grub application this year after your armyworm experience last year?
That's already down. I put down the
Yeah.
acetoprin, so I'm already.
So imagine
ahead of
it's
the
like
game.
same thing with the fungicide, like, oh, I haven't really dealt with it yet. And then once it hits you and, does crazy damage to your lawn, then you're like, okay, from now on, I will always do a preventative application. Like, do you want to have to learn that lesson or not?
Well,
I don't know.
I swore that I was going to have it down and be ahead of the game. But, life is busy and we were going out of town and I just run out of time. And I wanted to spray something bad before I left to where it would be down. But my wife was not having it. So it didn't work out.
Get in the car, Olee. Get in the car.
Other things.
Yeah. It's about like that. Let me check the door one more time. Get your ass in the car. Yep.
It'll be there when you get back. God damn it.
It may not.
Mr. Emoji.
Yeah,
Mr.
right.
Emoji
If I don't
is
buy
with
this. Yeah, I don't know. I have not yet applied a blanket preventative fungicide yet, but I've been kind of in transition. So most of my experience has been on a young lawn where it hasn't been a huge issue yet. So I did apply it one season where I thought it was like in the middle of summertime and it could have been summer heat stress, but it could have been fungus. So I increased my watering and I applied, I think it was Scott's Disease X, the Zoxy Strobin or whatever. Applied that and it went away, whatever it was. So, but I don't know if it was from the water or if it was from the temperature finally dropping or from the Disease X. I don't know. But it's definitely something to consider each season if you've had problems before, for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Brent? What do you do?
I just go by Disease X personally.
Yeah.
I just I would love to have the time to sit down and really get into a lot of stuff, to truly learn. And I just find that I don't have it. So last year when I was, like really in the middle of our crazy funguses here in the Northeast, I don't know, I just went and grabbed some Disease X and, put down a curative rate and it cleared it up pretty good. And I had some sitting in the shed. So that's what I threw at it on Saturday, I guess, when I started seeing a little bit of fungus popping up. Saw a couple spots and I said, well, let me go ahead and get this cleared up. And, it's looking better. Now with red thread, am I wrong? I feel like I read someplace that hitting a red thread with nitrogen will help that out. Do any of you guys know if that's accurate or am I remembering incorrectly? That it kind of responds a little bit differently than some other funguses?
That's
don't
true,
know.
but you can the problem is you can fertilize yourself right into brown patch or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I would imagine it's probably a fine line. Because I had read that when I first saw the red thread, like, I don't know what it was, 3 weeks ago, maybe. And, I hit it with a little bit, like real light. I don't remember. I have it written down, exactly what I put down, like light application, but it seemed to help. It went away. And then, now 3 weeks later, I'm seeing other fungus pop up, not in the same spot though. So, I mean, other, kind of like throughout the yard.
Sure.
So, I remember reading that and I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot and see what happens. And it seemed to have done pretty well. So.
You own it, Cody.
Oh, what?
You own it, Cody.
Not Cody.
I don't know.
Yeah. You.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We got Mr. Emoji in the house.
I can't see the chat. Oh, my phone. I can't see. I don't have a computer in front of me.
Okay.
So I guess
There's
a couple of things I guess I want to say quick. So Brent, to your point, so I see a lot in the chat about no, you have to use this. No, you have to use this. Nope, that you should, like back to when we started this whole thing, not everyone wants to have 50 chemicals in their garage, and not everyone wants to take that route. So to Brent's point of, yeah, I saw some stuff and I threw some disease X for it. That's probably what 90% of people are going to do,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's an acceptable practice. So the niche market that we're in of the small percentage of, lawn owners that go above and beyond and stuff, it's not wrong. And I feel like the chat is kind of like getting that, oh, you can't use this, or you have to use this, or you did this. It's like there's so many ways to go about your lawn. And the fact that like everyone like thinks that what they do is the only answer and it's right. It's like, I don't know. I read so much of that shit, and it gets annoying sometimes for me when it's just like, you have to use this chemical. That's not right. You can't do this. You can't do that. Guys, there's people who never put down fungicides and have good looking lawns. There's people who put down, one thing. There's people who put down a different thing. It's like, I don't know. I see a lot of that going on in the community, and just not just fungicides, but things in general. The whole like what I do is the answer, and what I do and what I say is right, and all that stuff. But Brent, I'm with you. Like, I have a job, I have kids, I'm coaching T-ball, I have shit to do. I don't have time to like sit there and do all that stuff. So if I go to my garage and I have some disease X sitting in there and I see a little bit of stuff and I'm going to throw down, I'm on the same page as you, and you know what? I think my lawn is above average, and I don't worry about it. So that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. I'm
with you, and I've said that kind of before, is that I'm all for trying out new things. If there's something that I have the opportunity and the time, frankly, to sit down and research, and there's some things I want to nerd out about with it. I feel like fungus is one of those things that is probably incredibly complex when it comes to this. I mean, right? Like, we do nerd out about, our, rates of MPK, and like, we know how much stuff of each of those things, right, that we're putting down every year. And we have above average lawns for, our neighborhoods, right? And some of you guys have above average lawns for this particular show, and I would say that I'm probably on the lower end of that. You guys are better at this stuff than me. That was my whole impetus for even starting a lawn care page, not to try to educate somebody or be like, oh, hey, I know all this stuff, because I don't. But to Nate's point, to learn and to say like, all right, well, maybe it is per thousand, right? Maybe it is a little cheaper to have, I don't know, whatever fungicide. I really don't know. Then to go out and be like, all right, well, I got fungus in my lawn. I got a 5,000 square foot yard. I'm going to go out and buy, a bag of disease X, and I'm going to sling that shit all over and water it in, and I'm going to see where I stand. Right. Yeah, it's a common product. It's a big box store product. I've had success with it, the last couple of years. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think last year might've been the first year I ever used a fungicide. Again, learning curve, and saying like, okay, well, let's try something new to bump it to that next level, that, kind of above average thing. And
fungicides are not cheap. You know what I mean?
No,
like from what I've seen, like they're like, you go out and buy a bottle of something, $100, and it's just like, in the chat tonight, I've seen 8 different things suggested. It's like, I'm not going out and buying, 8 different things to, because 8 people have different opinions. It's like, I don't know. I'm just,
to each his own. I mean, Every lawn is
Yeah.
different. Everyone is different. Everyone has a right to their own opinion.
Everybody
but
has-
sometimes,
everybody
you should
has
probably keep it to
different-
yourself.
Everybody has different equipment.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different way to apply. So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, let's fuck all that shit. Like, let's talk about some diseases. Like, let's talk about fucking let's talk about some fucking diseases and shit. Like, what the fuck? What do you guys see in the lawn? What the fuck does it look like? What causes it? Like, what types of diseases are you guys dealing with? What are you treating?
Bitches are usually the one that's causing it. Oh man, no, I haven't seen a lot of fungus or disease in my lawn.
you don't get a ton of rain, do you?
No, not really. It's springtime. We get tons of rain. We may get a shower.
What's like your humidity? Are you guys high or like low?
Oh no, we're low. I mean, we're high humidity. I mean,
Okay.
we were hitting the real feel. I was talking to Aaron about this the other day of 109 out here, and it's just ridiculous. It's hot. It's humid. It's perfect for it because
So,
like you guys have said,
Like what
Once it
percentage of
hits you-
humidity? Like, what are you talking? I'm just curious.
we could get up into the 90s and
Okay.
mid 90s. Yeah.
So you're probably similar to like
uh,
Midwest, like Bill. The other day
Yeah.
I looked and it was 90 degrees and it was 87% humidity.
uh-huh.
That was rough.
But then, so my
And just-
parents, my mom and stepdad were just here from Arizona, and they looked, and it was like 96 degrees, but it was like 15% humidity, and that's
Mhm.
completely different. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like then
Arizona is a different kind of heat.
it's a dry heat. That's what I was curious.
Yes.
Like what you saw in Texas, like Brian, and like Drunk Lawn Guy, and those guys in Utah, they don't have the humidity because it's
dry.
so dry, but it's like
Right,
a dry
yeah.
heat. You know what I mean? That's it's a completely different scenario, and I guess that's kind of back to my point of like, Olee, how you're going to treat it, Brent, how you're going to treat it, Cody, how you're going to treat it, Lyle, Bill. It's all a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because you're dealing with a different beast. It's not
Well, it
all the
depends.
same.
It depends what disease you have, what you're going to treat
Yeah.
with. So I mean,
Right.
How
And
do you
Lawn,
find
and
out
Lawn
what
Radiance
disease?
also just said that. Lawn Radiance also just said that too. I was going to comment in the chat, but I'll just,
you don't want to waste your money
verbally.
on stuff that's not going to treat for that or apply it at a certain rate that requires to treat that disease. And so like, I mean, if you're putting down, if you see some weird stuff in the lawn, you're just throwing down disease X, that maybe isn't treating it, or you might have something that's more effective of it. Even if it is $100 bottle, that could treat 3 acres, and you could have
Yeah,
that for
sure,
freaking
and
you
keep
could
it
have
going
that
for
4
years.
years. It's going to be
Yeah.
super cheap. It's probably like $3 a 1,000 square foot to apply it. So there's a lot of different factors with that, but I was just curious
yeah.
what you guys were seeing, what kind of diseases you were seeing.
I always see, gray leaf spot and brown leaf spot. Those are the two that's what I have seen in my yard, since I started really paying attention to it like last year. That's what I was seeing,
You have
this
pictures, Zach?
weekend. And that's what I was seeing this weekend. And,
Have
I know that that's something that the disease X that I had would take care of. Now, red thread is obviously I don't want to say obviously, to my knowledge and my recollection, red thread is not something that's treated by disease X, which is why I did a little bit of research and found them.
Disease
Tried
X
the
is
nitrogen thing. So,
azoxystrobin, right? I believe.
yes, I believe so.
It's
Yeah.
only what's the percentage? It's low, like what, 3% maybe?
It's pretty low. I don't know off the top of my head. You can look it
I
up.
want to. I feel like the bag says like 3% or something. I can't. Yeah.
But yeah, but the point being, yes, of course, there's things that will not work for, and you have to, you have to do at least some level of research to say, okay, well, what the hell kind of disease is this? What the hell
0.3%.
kind of fungus am I looking at here? And this is the first year I'd ever noticed red thread. Now, that could be, like we were talking before, that could be because it's the first time I've ever gotten it, or it's because, I actually noticed it and said, this is very different from what I've seen before. Let me go take a look and figure out what these different kinds of funguses or fungi are. So I knew when I saw it, I knew what it was, right? So like, you know, potato.
There's
right?
some diseases that need to be treated to treat by foliar, and then some can be by the soil. So some which I think Yard Hard, you can speak on this a little bit, this chart, but is that kind of what that's saying with that uptake?
Yeah, I mean, this looks like something that, I mean, pretty informational. Shows you, whether they're, because there's a difference, and that's kind of one of my points is just go out in the lawn and walk around, go see what is out there, look for the leaf spot, look for the first sign if you're not preventative on it, and or if that's running out and it's running out, or your humidity goes up, or you accidentally forgot to set your timer and your sprinklers ran all night, go walk around for a couple of days and just look and see what's going
Never
on.
happened.
Right. So, you walk around, see what is going on. When you find a problem, just do a little Google machine work and find the right answer rather than just throwing something at it. And something like this, where it kind of shows, what it does. Maybe it doesn't say exactly what disease it covers, but I mean, you can figure that out pretty fast. But yeah, I mean, Zach, you're right. It's either
pretty cool. It shows the concern over resistance. And I can link this in the description. It's from OSU. Lyle actually sent this to me. And but that's kind of cool. Like what
does that mean, Zach? What is concern over
like
resistance
if you apply it, like the plant can get tolerant of it, and eventually it'll be resistant to that fungicide.
I got you.
The fungus will be.
Yeah.
They're
less
The fungus.
more likely to be ineffective, probably from overuse or inappropriate use.
Yeah, or already could be resistant.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that brings up a point of rotation.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, or if you're just applying
good.
oxystrobin, like I know Olee said he was using propiconazole and azoxy. I mean, are you guys rotating? Are you guys just applying, disease X?
I think one of the biggest things is, first of all, was identification. Like you need to know what you're trying to treat. Just because you see something, doesn't mean to go start applying. And here lately, like I've got a couple spots, and I think I might send them to Lyle and let him look at them. But I was really feeling like I had leaf spot, but from what I've done digging, it's too early in the year to have leaf spot, or possibly gray leaf spot. So I guess it is brown patch, but normally the leaf, and it's really hard to tell as far as like where something starts to what it actually looks like once it's full blown.
Yeah.
And if you want, I'll send you some.
What I have a hard time with.
I mean, identification is, and you're not going to learn that right away. And you can look at pictures on the internet, and it's it's hard to decipher sometimes.
I mean, I've been playing in the lawn for 3 years, and I still don't. I really can't identify a lot of things, even with the Googler. Because it could be a ton of things, and it's just like you gotta try to find the best one for it. And it's not like my weed identifier that I have an app for that gets it pretty close, say like 95% close. But no, the fungus,
those are super nice.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I'm the same way, where it's like I have a long way to go before I can confidently identify a fungus, let alone looking at a patch of grass somewhere and be like, oh, that's totally a toe fescue. And I'm still learning all that too. So I think that's the benefit of something like the Bio Advanced, the propiconazole or the azoxy, the Scott's Disease X, because they're probably pretty broad products where they kill a wide range of things. And that's probably why there's more concern about resistance, because they're easy to produce. They kill lots of stuff. Everybody can just use it easy, and it kills most things. And then to get more into specific stuff or other things they don't cover, that takes a little bit more effort, a little more research maybe. But that's the level I'm at right now, is like, okay, these are the two products that I'm familiar with. If I'm going to put a preventative, it'd be one of those two. If I'm going to see something that I may think is fungus, I'll probably grab one of those two. And a lot of it goes to they're easy to find, easy to use, versus some of the other more high-end stuff or DIY, type of stuff that other folks may be using, which
So
I
this
think
is
goes
from-
back to like what Nate was saying.
University of Georgia and like brown patch right away, like, and it shows control, like correct water problems, don't over fertilize, use low amounts of nitrogen, moderate amounts of phosphorus, and moderate to high amounts of potash, which I know some diseases can look like a potash deficiency.
Mm.
So that's kind of off topic, but
Yeah, well, no, there's definitely
kind
things
of
you do.
it's kind of
before you
cool,
go
right?
straight
This is a
to
really
fungicide.
cool tool. Yard hard something.
Yeah.
It kind of
What
tells
is it?
you, like, it's University of Georgia. I can link this below too.
And almost everybody or every university that does any turf work has good tools like this that is good to look through. I mean, some are definitely more detailed than others, but it's nice to just go on and read about this stuff and see some ways to. I think cultural practices are probably 90% of the problem.
Mhm.
You know, you take that for it and do it. I mean, everybody does it differently, but do it quote right. You're going to avoid a lot of this.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I know. I look at University of Texas A&M out here, and they're big in agricultural. That was one of the first things I did is, well, what's common in Bermuda and North
Yeah.
Texas here, and they kind of give you the list of what's common. So I really kind of there's a big list of fungicides, but I've kind of actually just here's your list now. Now it's a little bit easier. You can kind of
Mhm.
go through it. So yeah, it definitely helps out a lot.
well, a lot of this is self-inflicted. Too much fertilizer, too much pushing, too much water, watering
Yeah.
at the wrong time, or a lot of that stuff is self-inflicted. And over time, I guess you'll learn it.
Not sharpening your
You'll
blades.
buy a bunch of grass seed. Right, well, look at that. So on the right, I feel like that is brown patch on the right. But tell me if on the left is just the starting of like early stages of brown patch, or is that something different?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a really good question.
I mean, they both have those small spots. Granted, the one on the left has the darker ring around them more so than the one on the right.
And
But
see, I've always been told that brown patch is legions with the dark, like a dark band, that purpley black band top or bottom. And see, I've racked my brain for the last 2 days so much that now I'm more confused than I was a year ago.
let me see if I have one of those.
I guess
Well, I mean,
I
you
don't know
still,
if
I can still see some of that banding on the one on the right. I wonder if it's just are they from the same grass plant? Is one of them like just
They're pulled
worse
within
than the
an
other?
inch.
Is it more advanced, like further
They're-
along? I guess.
They're pulled like 1 inch from each other on the ground. But anyway, now that right there blade could be sharpened a little bit.
I've been getting a rough cut, just still, like, I don't know, occasionally I'm getting a rough cut.
Yeah,
Well, I
sharpen-
think some of that has to do with ground speed, or how tough is the plant? Will the plant be steel to be cut off clean, or is the plant sort of soft, or what?
How erect it is.
You're
Yeah.
gonna say something else.
Yeah, I got to watch
You're gonna say that
myself.
the
I gotta-
plant was flaccid.
Yeah, I gotta be
Penis.
careful.
How yard hard it is.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we got lawn of the week or what?
Heck yeah. Hey, listen, guys, it's been real, but I gotta go to bed. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna bounce off.
All
All
right,
right,
brother.
man.
All right, see you.
Be safe out there.
All right, later.
Hey, so I took pictures of that leaf blade, Olee, and this app that's called it's one of these plant diagnosis apps. It says it's brown spot. I don't know if it's 100%
patch.
accurate, but brown patch.
I'll start to say you about to mix a gray leaf spot with brown patch and mix a brown
No.
spot.
Brown spot.
We
Brown
really
spot,
got
patch
a-
spot.
We got a
Brown spot patch.
mutation.
I had to get out of it.
Talking about my underwear now.
Quit eating so many nuts.
I tell you. Yeah, let's so who do we got for lawn of the week?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's late. We gotta We got to get that going. Yeah, this one's a long time running. He's been tagging us for a long time, I think, going way back. Do you have his pick ready, Nate?
Nate.
Why would
Oh,
I have
sorry,
this pick
not
ready?
Nate. Zach, sorry.
Get it ready.
Yeah, who is it? Let me
Somebody
know.
lives down by a lake. There's lots
Definitely.
of
He has
of
an
effects.
effect. He has like a stripe effect.
Kind of crazy effects
he-
going on in their lake.
He's
I
got
don't
an
know.
effect on me.
Lake effect. Lawn.
Ooh,
Look at that.
that
Double
gives me a yard
singles,
hard. Big
single
yard
doubles.
Yeah, dude. Single doubles in the shade. Looks good.
Looks
I know.
really good.
Jeez.
Got the dark doubles, just like
Healthy shrubs.
Striper Steve likes that.
Yeah.
Oh
He just-
yeah.
Double darks. Double
He just
darks.
renovated this thing too, so I mean that's a
Did he?
good looking
Yeah,
looking
he-
lawn.
That's,
Nice.
I got a couple. I
Yeah.
didn't make a collage, but I got a couple different ones of it.
Filled
Colors,
in nice.
colors phenomenal.
Dark.
Got that lawn striper.
Even that
Oh,
light strip is
yeah.
dark.
It's the job done.
And I know he's been posting quite a bit how he just redid his approach sidewalk and his front stairs and all that. And just like any of us, he had the anxiety of, all the edging getting trampled on and just all the traffic and all that. But I don't know if any of you guys saw it. So they actually cut out some of that, some of the sod, and he had a couple patches that he did kind of his own kind of renovation patchwork, like sod replacement, where he took the good stuff and some of the stuff around, I think it was around his driveway or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then came through and actually did his own patching and said it worked out really, really well.
That's cool.
So that was cool.
Nice.
Very lush. Very lush.
Yes, definitely.
So lush.
Definitely lush.
Definitely lush tonight. But
Very.
no, but
Gorgeous.
yeah, Lake Effect has been a long time listener.
Is that perennial?
I think it's
I think it's 365.
365. Yeah, I think it's 365.
Yeah, Little
I think
Mountain
he
View
has
Seas.
some. I think he has some perennial ride in there.
Good stuff. I want to
Yeah.
Do you have any
incorporate.
pictures of his backyard?
Yeah, it's not a
He posted-
DIY striping kit. It's actually the lawn striper. So I mean, it is a
Mhm.
DIY striping kit, but it's not like he made it. He is using that lawn striper. That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does a
Yeah.
good job. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it looks really good.
Congratulations. What's he get?
Compete.
Tag.
Your choice
Yeah, no,
of NPK from ProPe.
Yeah, anything that they sell on their Home Depot site, right? Or anything you can get from them, they'll get you a bag and ship it. So you just reach out to the KOTG account, let us know what ratio you'd like, and we'll get in touch with John and get that out to you.
And I know for a fact that this gentleman does not watch the show live because he's working. He works the evening shifts. And so he is a next day watcher. So no one message him tonight or anything like that. Let it be a surprise.
There you go.
So that way, when tomorrow on a Wednesday afternoon at 11 a.m. he's watching it, he can start jumping up and down and cheering for it. But I do know I've had a lot of conversations with him over the last couple of years, and I remember this so many times where he says, "I will win this one day. I will win Lawn of the Week one day." And I remember him going through his renovation. He would message me. He's like, "It's not there yet, but it's gonna be." And so, Tony, he's gonna be very, very happy that he won this. He's gonna be pumped up. So, congratulations!
Congrats.
Buddy. Yep.
Yeah, man.
And for,
Yeah,
and for everyone wondering, just keep posting, keep tagging,
Yeah.
keep on doing what you're doing.
Go
Yeah.
see the
See ya.
president, drunk lawn guy, whose birthday is Friday.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, happy birthday, Justin. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
that's him getting ready for date night with the wife, I think.
Been waiting on that all night.
This is what you call a stranger in the house, right there.
this
Oh.
is
To the extreme.
dollar too.
Yeah. So
That
yeah, use
collar's
that
awful loose.
hashtag, KOTG Lawn of the Week, and then you can maybe win and get in a group chat with this guy.
The leader.
The leader. I don't know where you find these pictures, Zach. It's awesome.
I'm right place, right time.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That leash had a plastic clip on it. I believe he could get out of that.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yep.
You know,
man.
I just because we're having a good time tonight, Lyle, you know, I saw a couple comments in chat earlier, and you know, I'm just curious, like, did you do an internship with True Green, or do you have like a buddy in True Green, or like what's your connection? What's your connection with True Green? Because I've heard.
Oh, I knew this was going to come up.
I just wanted to.
Hot
I mean,
seat.
this
Man.
is True Green right here, John Deere Green. This is True Green, but I'm just curious what they're talking about.
That looks like garbage. Whoever that is.
Oh, it's way better
Oh,
than
no.
Coors Light. Coors
Um,
Light bullshit.
Not that.
He's
The
talking about
picture
the
that was
lawn.
up.
Oh.
So, no, I did my internship at a golf course in Wyoming. It was not called True Green. Back in March during the basketball tournament, there was also a lawn tournament going on called Lawn Madness. And I happened to be paired up in the first round with Mr. Drunk Lawn Guy himself. And he used his wonderful Photoshop skills to write a True Green review from me and posted it online that I had used True Green and it was 5-star quality. So ever since then, yeah, I have used True Green in one form or another, according to Drunk Lawn Guy. The best,
Hey,
I think
man,
the best part
what are
is
friends? What are friends for? You know,
that's what they're for. And the best part is people that don't know kind of the inside scoop on it. There's been a few times where they've asked, "Hey, that looks really good for True Green. They must run a different program." And I'm like,
yeah.
Do they ask
I
you
can't
for a
argue.
He
discount
gets the
code?
5-star package, man. That's
It's-
why, you know.
right. You got to leave the review.
Does
Oh,
does Yard Hard 10 get you 10% off of True Green?
Yeah.
15.
50.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yard Hard
Yeah.
15. Okay. Oh man.
We need to have somebody from True Green on the show. I'm gonna call him.
That would be
You hook it up.
I'm gonna say, "What the hell is your problem?"
We've never had a guest leave halfway through the show.
Yeah.
speaking of True
Start
Green,
bragging
we do
about
have True Green in the house.
Hey,
We have
there he
Blake and
is.
True Green.
You get True Green.
Uh,
should be Jake. Jake.
You got khakis.
Blake at True Green.
You going to look for your collar or what? You going on your nightly walk?
What is the story he's telling about True Green? That sounds made up.
It sounds made up.
There's no way that's real. Do I
Pretty
look like
real.
a guy who knows how to Photoshop?
I got to admit, I could probably do better with some Crayola,
Oh man.
but
Shots fired.
it was good. I'll give you that.
That's funny.
And I won the first round against you. So,
Okay,
No.
that's enough. I gotta go. You guys are being negative.
oh no.
Bye,
Oh, man.
Frizz.
It's not quite
Honestly,
dark
I
for
had
him
no
yet.
idea who was loading up. It kind of made me nervous for a minute.
That's funny. We have low security over here, you guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, should we wrap it up, you guys? This was good.
Yeah.
That was a good show, guys.
So what next week, Cody, who we got?
Hey, we got Kelsey from Earth Science, and that is going to be a great show. That is one you're not going to want to miss. Unlike just like this one right here, you didn't want to miss it. Thank you, Lyle, for coming on. We really appreciate that. Hope you weren't too nervous.
Not at all. I had a great time.
Yeah, it's good to hear backstories on individuals and how they do things. So, but yeah, Kelsey, I hope you're watching right now because it's gonna get crazy tomorrow and next week.
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow too. She's gonna call me tomorrow and be like, "I'm not doing it."
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. So Earth Science, you've probably seen them a little bit on social media, and they make a bunch of different stuff. So they'll be on next week. That'll be cool.
Oh yeah. And I believe, nah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna leave it for the show next week. Don't worry about it.
Ooh.
So either be there, or
Cliffhanger.
don't be there.
Be in the chat.
Be there in the chat.
Yep,
Be there early.
Ooh, be there early.
So,
All right,
all right, guys.
So, guys.
See you next week.
Send her out. Go Hawks.
Play us out.